Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to another edition of Crimes of the Week International. Before we get to today's video, we're excited to announce that our official Patreon page is now live. Patrons will receive exclusive extended editions of each one of our Crimes of the Week and Crimes of the Week International videos. So if you want even more crime news coverage, head over to patreon.com/crimezone.
A situation described by some local news sources as a scene out of an action movie unfolded on the streets of the South African city of PIETERMARITZBURG this week. According to reports, the incident took place on Wednesday morning, when a police van transporting dozens of prisoners awaiting trial was on its way to the PIETERMARITZBURG Magistrates Court. At some point in the journey, the road was blocked by 5 gunmen armed with rifles who forced the police vehicle off the road in a hail of bullets. While some of the men held the officers at gunpoint, others went around to the back of the van and cut its locks off with bolt cutters. Though the entire attack was allegedly coordinated just to free one prisoner, a total of 45 inmates were set free. Most of the suspects are charged with murder or other serious offenses. At the time of this recording, most of the prisoners are back in police custody. However, police say that they are still searching for the remainder. A total of 16 prisoners remain on the run.
A man from the English town of YATE has been sentenced to 6 years in prison this week, following his conviction for 2 robberies he committed at fast food restaurants earlier this year. The first robbery took place on the evening of February 7th at a Miss Millie's Fried Chicken restaurant, when 22-year-old Rudy Batten stole roughly 200 pounds from the cash register while brandishing a knife and what was later determined to be a fake gun. However, it's the second robbery that took place the following morning for which Batten has been making headlines. At approximately 7 a.m., Batten reportedly entered a McDonald's location in the town, wielding the same fake gun he had used in the previous robbery. He held the prop to the store manager's head while demanding money, grabbing 50 pounds from the cash register and roughly 450 pounds from the restaurant's safe. He then demanded chicken nuggets, but was told that the location was only serving breakfast at the time. He decided to settle for a double sausage McMuffin before making off with the food and the cash. Later that day, Batten turned himself into police on the advice of a friend. According to reports, Batten committed the crime because he had drug debts and was scared about the repercussions. He was also on medication for depression and anxiety. On Wednesday, Batten was sentenced to a total of 6 years in prison for various offenses, including robbery, possession of an imitation firearm, and possession of a knife.
This week, it was reported that a man in Argentina had been arrested and charged with attempted murder after he shot at his friend 11 times due to jealousy over a social media post. According to reports, Nicholas Jaime became incensed after his friend Damian DeBella liked a photo that his girlfriend posted on social media. He then apparently decided that the only appropriate course of action was to attempt to murder him. The subsequent attack was partially captured on a security camera when Jaime pulled up to DeBella's car on a motorcycle, pulled out a handgun, and began to fire. As the car sped away, Jaime allegedly followed and continued to shoot until DeBella was struck in the back of the neck and lost control of his vehicle. DeBella was taken to a local hospital and is said to be recovering, though there are no reports that his injuries are serious.
Authorities in the Australian state of Queensland say that they are investigating a suspected murder-suicide case this week, after the bodies of a woman and her fiancé were discovered in an apartment in the Gold Coast suburb of Labrador. Police were called to the apartment of 48-year-old Lordy Ramadan last Friday morning, after her family in Victoria became concerned about her and notified them. When investigators arrived on the scene, they found the body of Lordy's 53-year-old fiancé, Craig Bauma. A more thorough examination of the home uncovered Lordy's decomposing body concealed in a furniture chest. A note was found near the body of Craig Bauma, supposedly offering an explanation for the horrifying crime. It explained that he wanted to get rid of Lordy's pain and suffering. According to Lordy's family, she had suffered from a series of health problems, including a chronic condition known as fibromyalgia, which among other things causes pain throughout the body and heightened sensitivity to pressure. However, the family totally rejected this explanation for the crime, giving statements suggesting that the chilling note only added anger to their grief. Prior to the tragic discovery, Lordy's family said that there were no signs of domestic abuse from Bauma in the relationship. He had been Lordy's caretaker and had been in control of her medication. At the time of this recording, it is not clear how either Lordy or Bauma died, though it has been reported that there were no signs of injuries to Bauma's body and further investigation would be required. Based on the difference in the state of decomposition between the bodies, authorities believe that Bauma was alive several days longer than Lordy and may have lived in the apartment for some time before taking his own life. Lordy's family is currently attempting to raise money via GoFundMe to help cover the cost of transporting her body back to where they live in Victoria.
Authorities in the Chinese autonomous region of Guangxi Zhuang say that they are currently investigating a stabbing attack at a kindergarten in the city of BEILIU. The incident reportedly took place on Wednesday when a 28-year-old suspect entered the premises around 2 in the afternoon. 2 children were killed while 16 others were injured, at least 2 of whom are in critical condition. 2 teachers were also injured in the attack. The attack is far from the first mass stabbing to take place at a Chinese school over the years, and are usually perpetrated either by people with mental illnesses or by individuals looking for revenge against officials or others known to them. Though at the time of this recording no official motive has yet been released in the case, the suspect reportedly told authorities that he had been bullied at the school as a child.
On Tuesday, a woman in Christchurch, New Zealand, was convicted of several charges after she reportedly engaged in a sustained campaign of harassment and lies against an ex-boyfriend designed to ruin the man's life. 35-year-old Nicola Watts met the unnamed man through an online dating website in January of 2019. They dated casually for a few months, but eventually the man ended the relationship in October of that year. At first, Watts attempted to tell the man that she was pregnant with his child, but when he said he did not believe her, she resorted to more extreme tactics. A month later, she went to the Christchurch South police station and made a formal complaint, in which she alleged that her ex-boyfriend had assaulted her, that her injuries had been seen by a doctor, and that she was sick due to her pregnancy. She said she did not want to pursue assault charges, but over the following months continued to lodge dozens of complaints insisting that the man was harassing her. At this point, Watts also began to fabricate evidence. She created multiple email and social media accounts using variations of the man's name, which she used to send herself abusive and threatening messages. In total, Watts made 55 complaints to police. At the same time, she continued to keep up the pregnancy charade, sending the man a sonogram which she said was their baby, and forging a birth certificate for the fake child. In April of 2020, she claimed that she had given birth and that the baby had been put into foster care. She forged a letter from the supposed foster parents as evidence. Then that summer, she applied for a protection order against her ex-boyfriend, using the forged birth certificate as evidence that she had given birth. As the case worked its way through the court system, the man spent nearly $5,000 in legal fees to convince authorities not only that Watts was lying, but that he was actually the victim. Finally, Watts' story fell apart under police questioning, when investigators discovered that it was not medically possible for her to have children. Watts admitted to the lies and was charged, but was released on bail on the condition that she not contact police again unless it was an emergency. However, it appears as though she couldn't help herself, as she contacted police again in January of this year via text message, pretending to be a different person with knowledge of several supposed crimes that the ex-boyfriend had committed against Watts. Her ploy was again discovered, and she was charged with breach of a protection order. This week, Watts was convicted of 6 charges, including a representative charge of making a false statement, perverting the course of justice, and breach of a protection order. She will remain in custody until her sentencing in June.
Authorities in the Indian city of Kalyan say that they have arrested 2 men and are currently searching for the third, after police were attacked by dogs when they attempted to impose a fine on a local business. On Thursday afternoon, a squad of 4 police officers and 4 municipal employees went to a shop run by 43-year-old Satyanarayan Gupta after they received reports that he was operating his business beyond the permitted hours of local health restrictions. Upon arrival, they found that Gupta and 2 of his employees, 27-year-old Anand Gupta and 25-year-old Aditya Gupta, were also running the business without wearing masks. When the officers informed the shopkeeper that they would need to pay a fine of 1,500 rupees or roughly $20 for these violations, a fight broke out, ending with Gupta sicking his 2 dogs on the police. Only one of the officers was bitten, and Satyanarayan and Anand were arrested. At the time of this recording, however, police are still looking for Aditya Gupta.
Last Friday, a man from Japan's Aichi Prefecture was released without incurring any charges, following his arrest 2 weeks prior for a series of bizarre thefts involving women's shoes. The incident first began earlier this month, when the suspect was taken into custody after stealing a pair of pumps belonging to a music teacher in the city of Nagakute. What made the case especially strange, however, is that the man had replaced the shoes with a nearly identical pair following the theft. An investigation revealed at least 20 additional pairs of women's shoes at the man's home, suggesting that this was far from the first time that he had done this. He admitted to police that he had stolen the shoes and replaced them because he enjoyed the scent of the used ones. Further reports from Japanese media claim that the man committed the thefts by first taking pictures of the women's shoes while they were placed in cubbies at their work. Using the photos, he would try to track down a convincing pair of lookalikes, which he would then wear and break in a little bit in the hopes that the switch would go unnoticed by his target. Following the release of the initial reports, several women came forward to police saying that their shoes felt different. However, none of the women, including the music teacher, were willing to press charges. The music teacher in particular said that the details of the case were too disgusting for her. As a result, the man will not face any legal repercussions for his actions. Though this appears to have angered many Japanese citizens, police were quick to point out that the man had not been stalking or making contact with any of the women. He was simply interested in the shoes. That brings us to the end of this edition of Crimes of the Week International. If you're a fan of the new series, don't forget to tell us in the comment section below. While you're there, make sure to subscribe to Crime Zone for more true crime content like this, making sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Thank you for watching.